Mark T the Handyman. Today we're going to compare these two Klein wire strippers. First, we are going to check the Klein 11061 wire stripper. This is Klein's auto-adjusting wire stripper and wire cutter. This stripper can strip wire from 10 to 20 gauge solid wire and from 12 to 22 gauge stranded wire. Looking at the front of the wire stripper, on the right side, you will find the adjustable stopper. The adjustable stopper controls the length of the amount of insulation that you are going to strip away from the wire itself. Below the adjustable stopper is the tension wheel that allows you to move and adjust the stopper for a different amount of insulation you want to strip. On the other side is the tensioning thumb wheel, which allows for a deeper or more shallow stripping of the wire insulation. In the middle of the wire stripper is the wire cutter, which is built into the handle. First, I'm going to show you how to use the cutter on the 14-2 with ground piece of Romex. Next, we are going to put the 14-2 piece of Romex into the wire stripper and show how the wire stripper can take the casing of the Romex off. It's just as easy as that. A nice clean cut. Now I'm going to show you the variations of length that you can cut off your wire. This white wire is a number 14 gauge wire, which I'm going to cut a little bit shorter. The self-adjusting stripper grabs onto the wire and strips the amount of wire you would like, whether it be long or short. Next, I'm going to take a piece of 14-3 with ground Romex to see if we can get a nice clean cut on the wire casing again. As you can see, the Klein 11061 gets that nice clean cut on the Romex cover. Now, we are going to cut the 3 wires to the size by adjusting the adjustable wire stopper to 5/8 of an inch. We are going to cut this on all 3 of the wires, the black, the white, and also the red. Now we are going to open up the stopper again, but this time we are going to remove the cover of the 12-2 with ground Romex. Just like before, the Klein 11061 gets the cover off nice and easy. Now you are going to strip your number 12 wire to the proper size you want. We're going to set the Klein 11061 to 5/8 of an inch at the stopper and see how it works on the number 12 gauge wire. Nice and clean. Now I'm going to open the adjustable stopper and I will show you how you can trim a little bit more insulation off the wire. Now we are going to see how the Klein 11061 does on a 10-2 with ground Romex. First, let's see if the Romex will fit in the wire stripper. Okay, it does. Let's see if it can cut the casing. Well, the Klein wire stripper cut the casing nice and clean. Now let's strip the insulation off the number 10 gauge wire. Another clean cut. So one more test. Let's see if the stripping tool can cut the number 10 Romex. The Klein stripper sliced right through the number 14 and number 12 Romex wire, but was not able to cut the Romex number 10. So I will cut the Romex with my needle nose pliers. Okay, now I'm going to show you how the Klein Katapult 11063 wire stripper works. Here is the back of the Katapult wire strippers. In the center is a hole that you can put wires through to cut the wires up to a maximum of 10 AWG copper-only wires. The Katapult has a feature that allows you to cut the wire by using a specific wire gauge. As you can see, the gauge has holes for an 8 to 20 gauge solid wire or a 10 to 22 gauge stranded wire. Here is a close-up of the wire cutter. It is in the center of the Katapult wire cutter, but unlike the Klein 11061 wire cutter, you cannot cut a piece of Romex. So for now, we will use the Klein 11061 wire strippers to cut this 14 tube with ground Romex. Unlike the Klein 11061, the Katapult wire does not have anything to strip the wire casing off the Romex. So what we are going to use is a green Lee cable ripper. The cable ripper is designed to split the casing to expose the wires so we can use the wire stripper. If you don't have a cable ripper, of course, you can use a razor knife, but be careful not to take any of the wire insulation off as you split the Romex casing. I will cut off a little bit of the casing that is left, and let's see how the Katapult works. First, we will insert the wire into the proper gauge slot, which in this case is a number 14 AWG. I will say this, the stripper does a very good job of stripping the insulation off the wires. Next, let's use the 12 AWG wire. We will have to cut the Romex with the wire cutter on the Klein 11061. Actually, any type of wire cutter will work, whether it be another wire stripper or a pair of wire cutters. Once again, we will have to split the casing on the number 12-2 Romex. Now let's see how the Katapult cuts the number 12 AWG wire. As you can see, I have placed the wire in the 12 gauge socket spot, and just like the 14, it cuts very cleanly. So last but not least, let's see how the Katapult does on the number 10 AWG wire. Same thing, we're going to line up the number 10 AWG wire into the number 10 gauge slot and strip the wire. And once again, the Katapult did a great job. Well, we've checked both of these wire cutters out, and they both have their value right here. This one has the wire gauge right there. That it's not a bad idea. It takes a little bit of time to get the actual wire in and strip it, but it does a nice job. I don't like that you can only cut one wire at a time, and I don't like the idea that you can't cut the casing off of the Romex itself. That really, I think, is a good feature. So this one here, you can do that. Here you've got the wire cutters right there, and they seem to cut fairly well. The only thing we couldn't cut was the number 10 of the whole piece of Romex there. We were able to cut the wires, but not the whole piece there. So that might be a little disadvantage, but there's other ways to cut the larger wires. One of the things too that I really like is you could put anything in there and strip off the casing to the wires themselves. And that, I think that's a good feature there. We did number 10, we did number 12, and number 14. And this actually will do thermostat wire and even smaller wire. It's really, I think, the better deal right here. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up or a like. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.